Toy Story 3 is definitely one of the highest rated Disney films on IMDb. It's actually the 121st highest rated film of all time on IMDb. And I get it. I do. I'd seen this film, but it was a long time ago, and the same with the other Toy Stories, so I decided to rewatch them. Really loved the first one. The second one was pretty good. The third one, for me, was not as fun. The things that I liked about the first Toy Story were missing in this. But from an emotional aspect, from how well written it was and how well the narrative developed, I can completely see the appeal. It's also worth pointing out that it did win several Oscars. It won the Academy Award for the Best Animated Feature Film of that year, and it also won the Best Achievement in Music Written for Motion Pictures Original Song with Randy Newman's We Belong Together. I'll be honest, the soundtrack in this one didn't move me too much. The narrative, because I think it's something that speaks to absolutely everybody at one point in their life, absolutely did. Directed by Lee Unkrich, written by a whole host of people and released in 2010. Can't really believe it was that long ago. And it stars our usual fantastic voice cast, including Tom Hanks as Woody, Tim Allen as Buzz, Joan Cusack as Jessie. We also have Ned Beatty as Lotso. Lotso is a lot more evil than I had remembered. Don Rickles as Mr. Potato Head, of course. Michael Keaton as Ken. My favourite, John Ratzenberger as Hamm. Really brilliant cast and characters. One thing that I did love about this, just before I get in with the narrative, is the mix of toys. Because of the narrative style, we get a lot of new toys in this one, which is something I felt was lacking in the second film. Whereas this one, we see a lot of different styles. The big doll, the big baby, I thought was creepy, but I loved the animation design. In this one, Woody is going off to college. Woody is now a fully grown teenager. Andy is a fully grown teenager, and I have to say, when Andy first comes on screen, it's a bit of a shock, because I think last week and the week before, I watched Toy Story and Toy Story 2. He's a child still, and then seeing him as a fully grown teenager, basically an adult, it was surprising. And a little bit emotional, even for me, and I'm not that emotionally attached to these films, so I can certainly imagine how it would feel if you are one of the people who loves these films. And he's sorting out his toys. He's planning on taking Woody with him to college, and the rest of the toys go in a bag up to the attic. But his mother mistakes the bag for trash. They almost get thrown out, but then somehow, and I won't say how, but they end up all being given to a daycare centre. And the daycare centre is not quite the toy paradise that it seems. Things get a little bit intense, and suddenly they all realise they want to be back at home. Primarily with Andy, happy to go in the attic when he's not there. Will they be able to escape the daycare centre? Woody is there as well. I won't say how Woody ends up there, but it's certainly a very well developed narrative. It's got a lot going into it. It's very complicated. There are several heart-racing moments. I can't explain the most dramatic point, because it is the spoiler if you haven't seen it. But that scene, the most dramatic scene, and I'm sure you know which one I mean. I will say it's the most dangerous one, but it's where the aliens come into their own. The aliens really shine in this scene. That is the only scene I had remembered from this. And that says something about how powerful that scene is. The fact that they're in a daycare centre with a lot of toys that had been abandoned, absolutely fantastic. It means we get all kinds of new toys to look at and all these beautiful animations. And that's something that I really enjoyed about it. I genuinely can't fault it. I'm not sitting here saying that I think it's, for me personally, as good as, say, Toy Story 1, but I completely understand why it's so highly rated. It is flawless. It is emotional. It's action-packed. The only thing I didn't like was the treatment of Buzz. It felt too much like what happened to Buzz in the second film, or at least the way in which Buzz interacted with the other toys. I can't say anymore, but it felt a bit repetitive and unnecessary. But aside from that, Toy Story 3, I completely understand the hype. It's an absolutely beautiful creation.